December's a tough time to hunt pheasants. It really is.
Really?
Why is that?
They don't like to play fair. Wild pheasants don't like to play fair at all. They like to run. I mean, like we saw in that one field, they ran right around us the whole day.
Really? Out at Burkett's?
Yeah.
Really?
The field's so big that bird's going to go one way, and then when you kind of button hook around, they're going to go the other way. And
So Kent did say that was going to be an issue, but he thought maybe 4 people would be enough, and 4 people and a dog wasn't enough.
Well, so Tim taught me a new tactic.
So
that is one way you can do it, but then the other way is
yourself and maybe another person and silent one or two dogs and not a word said. Just follow the dog. Wherever that dog goes, follow the dog. Don't even worry about walking around the edge or cutting through the middle or any of that. Just follow wherever that dog wants to go.
Are your dogs well enough trained, Mr. Deer Hunter?
No. Okay. I mean they're decent, but they're old. So like when they were in their prime, they were pointing birds left and right. Now Theo is 10 years old, 10 and a half.
Wow.
And so he does a lot of wind pointing. Yeah. There's a bird over there somewhere. And Tess, she has always kind of followed Theo's lead, and I think as he got older and just less fire in his tank.
Wait, your Tess? Or do you also have a dog named Tess?
No,
that was your Tess.
But what's interesting is Tess, she's a half Brittany, half poodle. When she's at her best, like one time I hunted with this guy who had, he'd sent his GSP up to like Dawkins or something like that, and he was like wanting me to join this hunt club with him after he watched Tess hunt with his dogs. Like, I just yell at her. Right?
It's good parenting.
And she was, when she was at her best, she was really a good bird dog. And I think she could still, like, if she hunted with Tim's dogs every day and could follow their lead and she's just a follower dog. She's an omega.
So I was talking to Judd the other day when we were talking about dog breeds, and I asked him this question. I'm curious what you guys think as well. Because obviously every breed can be trained to an extent that they're a wonderful dog to be a companion. But most breeds can also be so poorly treated that they're a monster, in public. So there is a dog that is being walked by a small 17-year-old girl, and it is showing that it is aggressive, like pretty aggressive. And you're walking, you don't have a dog, but you're walking on the side of the road, and it's showing that it's fairly aggressive to you. What breed would you be the most terrified of?
Well, I think pit bulls are pretty terrifying. Honestly, pit bulls, even if they're not being aggressive, I just don't trust them. And everyone's like, "Oh no, you just no." I know so many people that have been attacked unprovoked by pit bulls.
Well, weren't they like,
including my brother?
Their breed. The breed before the pit bull was like a fighting dog, like 3,000 years ago.
They were basically bred for dog fighting, the way I understand it.
Well, the dogs now are. Those dogs before were catch dogs or kill dogs back a long time ago.
Use them for that, for like hog hunting.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure there's a lot of good pit bulls out there, but I mean, as far as like, even if it's not showing aggression, I get nervous around a pit bull, especially if my kids are with me.
Yeah.
But if like a mastiff was like showing aggression, I mean, those things are so huge. They could just. Were the mastiffs the ones at the conquistadors, or those were the Great
Pyrenees,
Great Danes?
Great Danes, yeah, Great Danes.
They used them as war dogs.
Really?
And in fact,
the like ones that could stand up on their hind legs at 7 feet or whatever.
Yeah, they would. So if you read like history on like DeSoto or
Coronado.
Coronado and Cortez, there's documentation, I believe, in all those stories where they would, like, when they'd come up to native people, they felt they weren't cooperating with them. They'd try and get them to, like, take them to, where's the gold, basically, and you show us. And if they start getting the vibe that they're, like, leading them in circles, they'd just kill them with their dogs. They'd let their dogs eat them.
Wow.
And, I mean, you come across that time and time again when you read that history.
Well, I mean, look at a chow. I mean, it was built to it was bred to hunt tigers and lions, and
it's so crazy.
Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
Yeah. Even
Irish wolfhounds.
Honestly, even Jack Russell Terriers, they were sent into holes to root everything out.
Yeah.
They're probably a small dog like that is more vicious than any pit bull that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I would like to see dog bites by small dog versus large dog.
Oh, number
wise,
You know what I mean?
it's not
That's a good
even.
point.
It's not even close.
Because I feel like I
It's
know
not
so many
even
people that have
close.
gotten their ankles bit by a small
Yeah.
breed,
Yeah.
as
That's
opposed
true.
to people I know that have gotten bitten by like a large breed.
Well,
true.
every
That's a
every
good point.
veterinarian that I know, they said that big dogs are nothing compared to dealing with small dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, like when they gotta
When
like,
they've
give
got to
them
do
and stuff.
shots or
You think
anything.
they have like
I just-
small man syndrome or
Yep.
like what's going on with those dogs?
Probably.
Yep, Travis Frank of the dog world down there.
Travis, we love you, but that's
Oh,
funny.
he's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me.
Oh,
I'm
you
sure
can't do
there'll
my
be-
man dirty like that. That's like one of the great
there'll
men of
be
my life.
something said when he's here next week about me, so I'm not too worried about it.
Travis, I almost got a picture of Tim climbing a fence for you yesterday, buddy.
It was impressive. I'll definitely post the video of it just waving in the wind with me on top of it. Cattle panels are not trusting.
Yeah, I was telling Tim if the cows from the neighbor get back in our fields again, we'll know which part of the fence they
That
came
was the
through.
weak. That was the weak spot it come through.
Yeah, the whole dog thing, like wolves, they're kind of.
Yeah.
But then compared to a big cat, wolves are kind of like wimpy. Like one wolf would never win against a mountain lion.
Yeah, but a mountain lion's never taken down a bull bison either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think about it though? The wolves are using numbers.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a numbers
But,
game.
I mean, they got to
with
go
them.
in one at a time. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to go charging in at rear legs of a running bison. You know
Well,
what I mean?
maybe it depends on how hungry you are.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, this sounds so stupid and Mike Tyson, but I really want a domesticated giant cat, like something the size of this table that I could just hang out
Nick,
with.
It's
there's
the
a-
Tiger King.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's a Netflix series on that.
Yeah, that's.
We'll visit you in prison. Don't worry.
Yeah,
You know how I always joke about like that documentary Jurassic Park, but this one was like real. That documentary,
I'll never financially recover from this.
And it just hit. It hit at the right time. Everybody watched it with COVID going
Oh,
on.
everyone did.
Everybody
It's
watched it.
so true. I
Well-
wonder how he's doing. Is he still in prison?
I think so.
I know people were trying to get Trump to give him the presidential pardon. I was like, dude, there's a
that is
chance.
not what that is for.
There's a chance. He got so much attraction.
He's so well liked.
There's no way.
Oh my goodness. Nope. I mean, you couldn't.
So, what dog would you be most afraid of? I think German Shepherds would be scary too because they're just so athletic.
So I told Judd German Shepherd, but then he said that what I'm probably talking about is, those videos of the dogs like running up
Belgian
the wall.
Malinois.
Yes.
Yeah, Belgian
So
Malinois.
those are the ones that are trained in over in Europe to be
Maybe
like police
Belgians.
dogs and like tear people to shreds. And he said they're one of the highest IQ dogs and they can be very aggressive. Like they've got more aggression pumping through their bones.
Yeah.
Their
They're
veins.
definitely higher energy than German Shepherds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, every German Shepherd, they look kind of fierce, but man, they're lovable. German Shepherds.
There's a lot of dogs like that. I mean, you look at like Draughts and wire hairs, and then like Belgian Malinois and German Shepherds. Like the German Shepherds, the F-150, and then the Malinois, the Raptor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like the souped up
With
version.
a Shelby in her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is when people get a herding dog, like a dog that's been hard coated, not soft coated, hard coated.
Like a border collie. or-
Yes, or what are those mini Australian
Oh, the
Shepherds.
Australian
Shepherds.
Shepherds.
Yeah, they get them and they have no yard, or they're just like in house, and they just scream at you. If you're a guest at their house, they'll just scream at you for like 2 hours. I'm like, dude, you picked the wrong breed. I know they're adorable, but like, come on. So
Yeah.
Yeah, incessant barking that gets old.
yeah,
Yeah. Somebody that has a beagle in their house. It's another one, but
that's what I told
Terriers can be that way too. They
yeah.
just
But then
won't
again,
quit
I mean,
yapping.
it's their house and
Yeah.
you're a guest. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
What's the
that's
most
true.
impressive dog thing you've ever witnessed?
like as far as bird hunting wise,
Just anything like you saw a
Um,
dog do what it's hardwired to do, and you're like, wow.
I've got a buddy that used to run a bison ranch out in western South Dakota, out by actually Buffalo, South Dakota, and he had two dogs, and I'm spacing off the breed. Kind of looks like a short hair, but they're a working cattle dog. And he would open the gate, and he had feed lot full of bison, and those two dogs would keep the 500 that were in there at bay while he was driving in a payloader
Wow.
with hay bales.
Whoa.
wow.
Like, I mean, it was
Just two.
impressed. Just two dogs, and they would keep them all back. And
Have you guys seen the sheep live stream thing? And
I was telling you about this.
they started about like watching the sheep, and it's become like a dog live stream thing because the dogs are so interesting. Watching them interact with coyotes verbally and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
what are those big white dogs that?
Great Pyrenees.
Yes, those things destroy.
Yeah, they would.
They're lovable,
Coyotes.
but they're vicious.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
they just like hunt coyotes.
like
The
those
definition.
dogs that are like guardian dogs, those literally, if you have kids, those are the best dogs to have
Yeah.
as a family pet because nobody's going to mess with your kids. That dog will not let anybody, and they'll be like aware of the whole situation.
yeah.
That's where like those cane corsos that everybody's all scared of, and that my answer to that question is, I know it sounds terrible, but I judge the person before I judge the dog.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, yeah.
Whoever's walking that dog, that's how I will judge the dog.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I feel. I mean, that's how you feel about like a 6-year-old, right? You don't watch a 6-year-old misbehave and go like, "What a terrible human." You go like,
Yeah.
"What is going on at home?" And I feel the same way about dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think I've said this on the pod a bunch. I would love a dog, but I'm not prepared in my life to drop the $10,000 that I would want to have a well-bred and very well-trained dog, where I feel like it is a blessing to the family and not
Nick
like
wants
a
his dog to
liability.
make him money. is
No,
what he's saying.
Well, when he gets those goats we were talking about yesterday, he's gonna need a herding dog.
You know what the ROI? That would be $10,000 on a dog. It'd be so tough to get the ROI.
I don't know if you need to spend $10,000 on a dog to get trained the
What
way
do
you want it to be trained.
A well-bred and well-trained dog. What would it take? You think?
It just depends on what you want. If you
'Cause
want,
I don't need like a
if you want
pristine golden retriever. I don't need that. I just want it.
like if you did like a border collie would be a really good dog probably for you out on the farm, or an Australian shepherd, something like that would be really good.
Okay, what about a house dog? Because I do want a dog out here.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. Dang it.
Talking
the
about
correct
barking
answer.
all the time.
Is yours a full?
No, he's like a mutt of all mutts. I did a DNA test on him, and he came back with like 70 different breeds.
Oh, yeah,
he's
I
like
remember when you
terrier,
did that.
Chihuahua, Shih Tzu, like Beagle. He's everything under the sun. He's the best dog I've ever had. Though.
Yeah.
Like he is smarter. I dare
You
say
almost
this.
lost him once, didn't you? Didn't he get really sick once or something?
My dog Jax did.
Oh,
My German
Jax.
Shepherd did.
Okay.
And the
Oh,
crazy thing is, I like in an intelligence competition, I would pin clutch my Chihuahua mutt smarter than my German Shepherd.
Really?
I kid you
Wow.
not. He is so stinking smart.
I love Jax. He's a nice dog.
He's a
yeah,
good
he's
dog.
great. He
He's
just
a good
hangs
boy.
out. You know, he just like,
Oh,
hey,
he's
I'm
so
around.
nice.
Oh,
He's got a Labrador personality for being a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's a terrifying looking 95-pound German Shepherd, and he wouldn't hurt a soul.
Yeah, he's a nice dog.
I could see you with like a setter, like a Llewellyn setter. That would be
Okay.
a cool dog
I
to
could
have.
see you with a Spaniel.
Spaniel. Yeah.
I could see a classy little Spaniel with like floppy
That
ears
dog would
walking in the
that dog would
office.
kill in the coffee shop though. A spaniel
Yes.
or a setter would kill in the coffee shop.
dude, shout out in Knoxville. There's a place called Slideways, and the lady who owns it, she has a dog, and that dog just chills out at the bar at Slideways all the time. Just does, unless
What is
she's
it?
going home with it. It's some sort of like small or large, too big to be a pug, but kind of feels like a pug.
Oh, boxer?
Boston Terrier or something?
No, but it's got kind of like a squatty body. You know, I don't know.
Like a French, like a
English-
Frenchie.
Oh,
Maybe,
Oh.
but like seems, I don't know, maybe seems bigger
Is
than
it, is it like an English bulldog?
Yeah, maybe it like waddles around. And
Yeah.
I mean, the whole crew there loves this dog. This dog is truly part of the family. It's cool to see. The dog's really well behaved. Love it.
I could see you being like a golden retriever kind of person.
Yeah.
It's because Nick is a golden retriever.
That's true. You guys play frisbee together.
The dog would mirror him, and he would mirror the dog, and it would
Dog
be a thing
doesn't
of
throw me the frisbee.
What is that like ancient Greek god who died, Narcissus or whatever, staring at the
Oh, yeah.
it'd be like near the
Narcissus,
golden
yeah.
retriever, just like, wow, you're so wonderful. You seem
You
just
want
like
to
me.
hear a painful frisbee with a golden retriever story?
Yeah.
My family, since I was like 10 years old, has owned a retriever of some kind. And the first one was excellent at playing frisbee. My dad used to collect frisbees when he was like in high school. So he's like, not only did he collect, but he played a lot of frisbee. So he can like zing. I mean, he's like the Peyton Manning of frisbee throwing. And so we lived on this giant hill, and he would send the dog running off the deck, and he would whip the frisbee, out like 70 yards, and she'd catch it out of the air like every time. And then their next dog, she was okay. She wasn't near as good as the first one. But with that dog, they had moved, and on their front porch, they have like these 2 columns that are square columns, so like a 90 angle on them. And he's like, all right, Sophie, run out there.
Oh, no.
And he threw the Frisbee, but he wasn't paying attention to that column. And he slammed his forearm like as hard as he possibly, like throwing speed, right? Like, at like almost to where he's on the follow through, and smashed his forearm right on. I can't believe he didn't break his arm in half. Right?
Oh.
He said it hurt so bad.
Oh my gosh.
Not for
So now
me,
whenever I
sir.
think of playing Frisbee, I just think of, wow, break your arm.
Watch out
Yeah.
for columns.
Yeah, stay away from the pillars.
Oh, man.
I'd like bring you to your knees, you know what I mean?
Well, so in true podcast form, I would love for people to learn something. Listen to this.
We are learning something.
I learned a ton. I'm very grateful for this conversation. My little sister doesn't know it yet, but she's getting a dog for Christmas. And yeah, I know.
You better
I
release
was
this
going to say, we better
podcast,
release
though.
this after Christmas.
You think my 11-year-old sister listens to the Prairie Farm podcast?
Well, somebody that knows her might. They
She's gonna
might
be like,
spill
"You
the
have a
beans."
podcast?
Congratulations. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you getting her?
My mom got her a thing.
A thing?
She told me twice. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'll send you a photo.
Nick, you're supposed to be feeding that
Oh,
present.
no, sir.
Whoops.
Well, that'd be so bad. Yeah. And my mom also is getting us all matching pajamas to take pictures of on Christmas morning. We're excited.
That's
It's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yep.
I hate being a grown man in PJs around other people. I just hate that.
I love
I feel
PJ.
like it's a good thing to embrace every once in a
Dude,
while.
zip it straight from the foot all the way up to the neck. That's what I'm looking for.
onesie,
Sweaty feet, here I come.
Look like Stewart off of what was that Mad TV? That Stewart
Yeah.
character.
Man. Okay, I have a question. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I want to walk through this because I want to know what the heck keeps pheasants on a place. You start in September with, well, no. When is it? The end of September? That's the beginning of pheasant season?
Usually October.
Okay. Well, you start right at the first
But
opening weekend.
you're probably going like for out west, probably in September, right? For like prairie chickens and stuff.
Yeah, like a lot of the seasons will start in September for grouse,
Okay.
up in the mountains, and then prairie grouse starts right around there too.
Well, I want to get to grouse and quail as well. But you open up that crop first weekend. What's in there?
Oh, great
Bugs.
question.
bugs and there's some greens in there too they'll eat, but it's mostly hoppers. If we got a good amount of hoppers, they're gorging themselves on there just because of the protein content. Them chicks got to eat that to get what they need to grow fast enough to be ready for winter.
So what does it transition to? And when? Like, when do you start seeing a transition there?
When you
Killing
get a
frost.
couple hard freezes, a couple hard frosts that'll kill them hoppers off, then they're gonna switch to the grains or more greens. Alfalfa is a big one that they'll
So they
eat
literally
quite a bit
rip
of alfalfa.
the leaves off of an alfalfa.
Yep,
That
yep.
seems so weird to me. I feel like they're more foragers of like digging through the dirt like a chicken, but I
Yep,
guess-
they will. But I mean, if that green's right there, they're doing like they always do. You watch chickens; they're just pecking and then walking and pecking and walking, and they're doing the same thing. And then when it starts harvesting the crops, then they're on them hard.
Interesting.
'Cause it's just easy to pick it up off the ground. Because if it's wheat, sunflowers out in South Dakota are magnets. Sunflowers are huge. They will eat I'm sure it's the fat content and the oil and all that in there that they absolutely love.
If you had some natural, was it helianthus or whatever, natural sunflowers or native sunflowers versus kind of those big old giant sunflowers we think of with the sunflower seeds, would they go for the bigger seed sunflower?
If they were next to each other,
Yeah.
like if you've got a giant, field of sunflowers that are getting harvested, as many seeds that are on the ground, they're gonna go to that every time.
What's
It's just like corn too.
What's the
they're gonna-
pinnacle? Like sunflowers are big, sorghum I'm sure is big, but what's the pinnacle if there's no bugs and you have a several fields right next to each other of all their favorite thing? What will they go to first?
Ooh, that's a good question. Like grouse would probably go to them sunflowers more than anything.
Okay.
Like prairie chickens especially they're sunflowers. If you hunt around a sunflower field, you're in primo stuff.
Interesting.
I would say pheasants, it depends on time of the year, would probably be corn.
Okay.
And then they do transition to beans later for some reason.
Huh.
I'm not 100% sure why, but
Well, I
like
wonder if,
later in the season, we'll find more birds by the bean fields than we do in the cornfield.
well, the like, what one has more carbohydrates and the other thing would be more of a protein, right?
I would think so.
Biologist, what do you?
They're trying to get their estrogen from the soy.
Yeah, rear it up.
Trying to get some more
Well,
estrogen.
in the deer world, people always talk about like earlier in the season, when their antlers are still growing, and which it's not like a buck is like, man, I need to get these babies as big as they're going to get. They feel that pull to more of a protein source, which is going to be a legume.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when women are
once they
pregnant,
get
they
to-
do the same thing. They literally crave the thing that their body needs.
Yeah, and sometimes they crave things that aren't actually food. It's called pica. It's true. Yeah, it's like it doesn't happen to everyone, I don't think, but I've heard multiple women say, there's like
the
times.
mattress tastes really nice.
Yeah,
And what happened is they actually ate some mattress when they were a kid, and their body went, "There's some content in there that I need."
yeah.
There's
it's-
something nice about it. I wonder if it'd go well with garlic.
It's a weird thing, but for deer, a lot of times people want to target corn in the late season because it's a higher carbohydrate. You're burning more calories, trying to keep your body temp up. So you're just wanting a more efficient hit from calories. That being said, Luke Fritch and I were hunting in Illinois last weekend, and we saw a ton of deer and a ton of like sign in a cut soybean field where they were just nuzzling through the snow trying to get down to those soybeans. And so they were still even that time of year. And part of that might be too that, I think beans rot faster than corn does. And so, they're just more available earlier in the winter than get to February or something.
And the wind blowing, the snow will accumulate more in a cornfield than it will in a bean field. I'm sure it's easier to eat there too.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Interesting. Because I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, and I have no issue with acre, 2 acre food plots. Obviously, there are people that sell them and they do great, and we stick with the native food plot just because that's what we know and that's what we do well. So it's like
we want more prairie on the landscape.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
and so where can we translate some of those things that are in food plots and maybe get 80% or 90% of the benefit of having it be in a native prairie or a native pollinator plot, maybe picking species that have really, really big seeds or, whatever, in a way. And then we're getting 80 to 90% of the benefit for food, but then we also get all the other benefits that would come with it. I think about it a lot. I get questions. People call it all the time. They ask me about like what deer like, and I have to literally say, "Well, Skip Sly says this," or because I don't know what.
Well,
or Jed McCollum.
I think a good rule for people to think of on this, and our good buddy Doug, looking forward to seeing you this weekend, buddy. He talks about putting in a food plot is like bringing sand to the beach, and that is there is a lot of truth to that. As far as
Wait, dissect that. What does he mean by that?
he's saying, like the whole landscape in Iowa is corn. So here you are planting your little corn plot when there's like literally 1,000 acres of corn right outside.
But a food plot is to lure it in, so you.
There's
But
still
I see
some,
what he's saying.
it's
That is.
and I think I think there's truth in Doug's criticism for sure, but there still is, like you're saying, if you have a kill plot, that deer, they like to eat corn, and if you're all about shooting, being able to manipulate the landscape to where you can kind of direct where the deer are going to be, especially when you're archery hunting, you need them to be in close range. It works. But I think a good rule to not just be a consumptive hunter where it's all about me and me filling my tag, and to be a conservation minded hunter. I think if you're going to put in, an acre of corn, maybe consider putting in an acre of prairie to go with it somewhere else on the property.
Absolutely.
Or even better yet, do a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ratio of native habitat to that. And I think what you'll find there too, a lot of whitetail property managers. We can hear some dogs right now in the
Oh my
background.
God! Can you hear him out there losing his mind?
See, when you call it out on the
Losing his
podcast, then you
mind.
don't have to worry about people hearing it.
I don't
Now
think
know
they
it.
can hear it.
They thought it was Nick at first, but then,
It was my stomach.
Riley's tied up outside right now. He's not on the podcast right now. He's
Nick
tied
just
up
made
out
it-
there.
Nick
just made a
let him in.
big purchase, and he had to tie Riley up to make it happen.
Riley.
But no, what I hear a lot of land managers talk about is, you have to have the habitat to support the deer that you're luring in. So if you just say, I want to have, this big food plot here and another one over here, well, you might be providing all the food, but you're not providing anywhere for anybody to stay. So if you're going to host Thanksgiving dinner at your house, and you're expecting everyone to stay for the weekend, you better not just have a lot of turkey and mashed potatoes. You also better have enough bathrooms, enough couches and beds and everything else for if
And
they're
it's
going to stay for the weekend. Otherwise, they're going to say, that was a great meal. We'll see you next year.
And it's even more important for habitat with birds than it is.
Yeah.
You don't need the food plot for
Right.
birds because, like Doug says, the food's all over.
right.
Yeah.
But if they don't have any
migrate so
place
much
to
for it.
stay when it's cold, they're gone. You're
Yep.
not
Yeah.
going to have them anymore.
Yeah.
Yep, that's 100% true.
And Prairie that's the key. I mean, you got to have some winter cover in there that they can survive. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen.
If you're going to hand pick, I know that this isn't your expertise is the birds and ours would be the prairie, but from your point of view, if you're going to hand pick species in winter cover for birds, what are you putting in there?
It's going to be the big three. It's going to be Indian grass, switchgrass, and big blue stem.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to want a chunk of that, like we did yesterday on that piece that we're doing. You're going to want a chunk of that to be in there, and then the other stuff is just that's the other part of the season that you got to worry about. You need to provide something for nesting, and you need to provide something that's going to bring all the bugs in, so the chicks have something to eat.
Yeah, you
It's like a 3 or 4 part thing that you need for.
you shot a
good
bird
property.
yesterday that illustrates what you're talking about.
Yeah,
You said this is a young bird.
it was
And
September. It was probably hatched in September.
Isn't that wild? So,
It still had brown feathers on his chest.
No kidding.
which is a good testament
Both of them.
to our farm because it's so far. I mean, it was a mild fall, but like late fall has been dead of winter. I mean,
Yep.
we've already had one day where we had sub-zero temperatures. I think one of our days we maybe even had like 15 or 20 below wind chill, and we've had probably cumulatively. Oh man, that's a tough word.
You
We're
did it.
through
You
it.
did
We're
it.
through it.
I'm not sundowning yet. I can still say cumulatively. We've had
5
probably,
syllables. Crazy.
that's my limit.
I did that like
add a
kindergarten
sixth.
clap in my head.
Don't add an ing on the end or something. But we've had probably about 2 feet of snow here, and yet that bird that was hatched just a few months ago
Yeah.
has been able to make it to where
Yeah.
he was, I guess, what we would consider an adult bird.
Yeah, oh, he's definitely an adult. But then the first one that we harvested, it was a good 2-year-old bird. Probably it might even have been older.
Wow.
I mean, it had really good spurs on it.
Yeah.
But the size difference between them 3 birds was he was half the size, or he was half bigger than the other ones.
Right.
Is
And I think
spurs the only way you can actually truly identify age? Of
And
pheasant?
sometimes it's not accurate.
But is
Kinda
that
like
the
turkey's
only?
the same thing. Like
That's
you
the only
know
characteristic, though.
Yeah, it's kind of that it's not this year's bird kind of thing.
Okay.
That's the only way to tell. You don't know exactly how old he is. Like a turkey, you can tell that it's not a Jake.
Right.
Like that's at least his second year. With
The
a pheasant, it's kind of the same.
I think it's hilarious. We're like, yeah, these birds, they have a hero's journey. They made it all the way until, yesterday when we shot them out of the air. You know?
yeah.
And that's the thing that like people that don't hunt don't like get it. Like how can you want to have so many birds but yet you go out and shoot them? It's just a working resource that
Yeah.
I mean we just want to keep making more because their lifespan's less than a year. So it's their average lifespan.
And it's not a question that I think can be directly answered. It's hard to know how to put words to why we have, as hunters, we have that relationship. But Stephen Ranella released a film on this exact thing. Oh man, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, Stars in the Sky. Remember that? and featured him at the beginning doing some kind of like open debate or something. I think it was in New York City actually. And there were some anti-hunter persuaded people. Everyone was being polite and cordial in the film that I saw. But they posed that question. And if I remember correctly, Steve kind of answered it in saying, I can't fully explain to you why, but I do know that I care more about that animal than you do. I've invested my life into studying them, learning about them, invested my money into, protecting their habitat. And when we get to the land management side, a lot of people sacrifice other earnings they could make off that land to support greater numbers and still only come away and maybe harvest one or two of the animals off that land that year.
I was listening to, this was a couple years ago now, Cam Haynes, Is It Endure? Is that his book's name? I was listening to that.
I think he has another book out now too.
I think so. But it's a great book to listen to while you're running. It was a great running book.
I think the sequel is called Stretch Afterwards.
Wait, what?
I don't know if I'll listen to that one then if I got to run.
Didn't quite sell it on that.
You
one.
lost.
Did you find a
me.
bear in the woods and you put that book on just so you can run away?
Tim and I live by a strict rule. If you ever see us running, you better join us
Call the cops.
Because either there's a grizzly or gold.
or the buffet's
That's
about
my
ready
buddy
to
Brian
shut down.
Grabs it. That gave me that joke.
And he said in there, Cam Haynes said that he basically went through the life cycle of an animal. And he said, this is option A, this is option B, this is option C, this is option D. And he said, like 1 in a million, they get to old age, they lay down, and they're functioning. He said, but usually if that happens where their body stops functioning, before they die, a predator catches them. So they get eaten alive there. So he goes through all the options. He's like, best case scenario, they get shot with a piece of lead and die within a couple minutes, or a pheasant basically right away.
Yeah.
Right? That's best case scenario for that animal's life. And I know that seems kind of harsh, but
That's true.
Yeah.
It's very
Mother
true.
Nature's far more cruel than any hunter has ever been.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's a few of them out there. There's a few others.
Well, I mean, starvation, an animal starving is
yeah.
the worst. I mean, that's the worst thing that you could ever,
Yeah.
go through, I would think.
I totally.
Yeah,
agree.
I don't think there's too many wild animals that die peacefully in their sleep.
No.
Joy, I don't expect you to know anything yet.
probably
but
don't
you're
know
my.
anything.
Don't let Joy.
What's he trying to say?
Make
He's
that
calling you
assumption.
dumb.
Yeah, he's
calling us
Don't
old,
let her
you
fool
know,
you.
it's
Joy
just-
reads. She reads.
I'm not quite up to Kent's level of reading, but I aspire to be. I don't know how many
Well, I
books
just
we've read
learned
yet
a
this
few
year,
years
but
ago,
I
so-
like. I'm gonna try to beat you this next year.
Man,
By the way, I still need to get you that Lewis and Clark documentary.
Yes, you do.
I saw it the other day. I'm like, I felt twinge of guilt.
Wait, is it on DVD?
Yes.
I don't have a DVD player.
no, nobody does.
Don't
that
worry,
just
I
aged
do.
you.
Because I'm
You
old.
can borrow-
Watch a DVD.
That
now.
just aged you so much.
I know.
I mean,
has
I
8 of
can
them.
get one. I can get one.
Yeah, he'll go to Goodwill and be like, a $2 DVD player.
Yeah,
What a
Nick-
steal! I'm gonna take this one home.
I just realized I asked him for that, and I don't have a DVD player.
Nick will ask me if I've seen some show or movie. I'm like, is it on DVD?
Did they release it? You know how on like VHS they used to have marketing for new videos coming out soon,
Yeah.
but like
Coming
on the
soon.
VHS. Yeah, so you'll like pop one of those suckers in, and it'll be like coming soon, summer of 1987.
Well, the guy who said coming soon has been dead for 30 years.
Yeah, but that coming soon sound, I saw it on a reel on Instagram.
Yeah.
It was nostalgic as could be.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
like, some emotion. Anyway, so Joy, I don't know if you know if you've looked into it at all, but that 700 million regen ag thing that Rollins just announced.
I want to say it's 12 billion.
No,
No,
12 billion
that's other money.
going
That's the
to
farm
corn
rate.
and beans. Yep.
Yep.
I see.
That's the
what you're saying,
bailout.
yeah.
But there's like a 700 million amount of money that's going to regenerative ag.
This is just as of
practices.
like 2 days ago. It's very
And
new.
I'm by the time this posts, it'll probably be a couple of weeks. But I'm very curious how that money funnels in, if it'll be true regenerative ag or if it'll go to some big ag companies that figured out a way to label their stuff regen ag.
Ooh, like biologicals and stuff.
Yep. And will it have any impact on wildlife? Because regenerative ag, the big talk is water and soil. But, organizations like Pheasants Forever are trying to, hey, but we could also add some stuff to get more habitat on the land that works with the grazing or whatever. And I wonder if we'll have a boost in numbers, because I was talking to, I was talking to someone on the phone who called me. He's like, have you heard anything about this? And they just announced it the night before. I was like, no, but I sent some emails. I'm curious. And and I was telling them, I bet that whatever programs that goes into 1 week, the 700 million will be booked, or like spoken for or asked for, And so what I'm trying to figure out is like, where will that money how will that money actually show up on the landscape, in our soil, in our water?
Well, I found an article here from USDA, and it looks like 400 million are going to be dispersed through equip practices.
Okay.
And then the other 300 is through CSP.
Okay, so equip is a one-time payment to help you set up, which makes sense, because the big thing with regenerative ag right now is people say, I can't put half of my acres aside and not get a profit off of them for a whole year to go into regenerative ag. And that totally makes sense. Kent, you okay? Oh, you're getting cold?
He didn't get the memo. I wore bibs. I came
Come on.
prepared.
You're sweaty from when we were
Yeah,
hunting.
I changed my shirt because I would have been
You want me to
freezing
give you
right
your
now.
pajamas?
Oh,
I
get
keep
his
them in the closet
onesie.
right over here.
Did you give me some new ones for
Yeah,
Christmas?
the zip ups.
Get his Dora
So
the Explorer onesie out.
Yeah. Here's something I think Joy could explain to us a little bit. CSP, Conservation Stewardship Program. I feel like that's that, and isn't there like CREP too? CREP?
CREP is like a wetland program.
Okay. So CSP, what kind of stuff do people? So equip is like if people can
Put a pond.
put in a pond, or put in honestly wildlife food plots. I think can be covered by equip.
I think bird boxes.
I think buffer strips, can't those be covered?
Basins. I mean,
Like
there's a
saturated
huge
buffers.
list of things that can
Really?
be covered. Like things that people would walk in when I used to work at our SWCD office. People would walk in and be like, hey, is there funding for this? And I'd look and I'm like, there sure is. I know nothing about it. Like you could get well systems for cattle waterers. There was like decommissioning money at one point for old wells. Like there's a ton of different practices that you could do. Depends where you're at nationally speaking, because some states have certain practices funding more and less than others, but it kind of depends. But like equip, yes, you're correct, is more like a one-stop shop. You like come in, you're like, hey, I have this field, I'm dealing with some erosion, I'd really like basins and maybe a field edge border here, and maybe let's even do cover crops, and it just be kind of like all in one. And then you get like your payment at the end. Where CSP is more of a holistic approach, where you look at your farm as a whole and you implement things over many years at a time. You're not just going to have a 1-year CSP contract.
Yeah.
It's going to be multiple years.
So they pay out yearly, or they pay out per project on CSP? Because CRP is
Can't remember.
yearly.
I want
just
to say
per
it's
acre.
I want to say it's by year.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like what you implement the first year, and then say the second year you're like, oh, now I put in duck boxes, and then you get paid for that, and then the third year you're like doing cover crops now, and then after that first year of just a single cover crop, the next year you're doing multi-species. So you kind of like increase and advance your quote unquote conservation throughout the period of the contract.
Interesting. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question. We're looking at irrigating some species in a different location than we've irrigated before. Like for a native prairie farm, do you think we could get equipped for a well for our irrigation?
I don't know. I don't know how much we do irrigation wells in the state of Iowa.
Yeah. Well,
Like I've never seen it or heard of it, but I've seen the practice listed. Like
Okay.
I've seen, and again, those practices come and go. Like it feels like with the farm bill, like all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a practice for this now, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, there used to be a practice for this, but now there's not. So like
Interesting.
it kind of comes and goes, if that makes sense.
any chance you know anything about the farm bill that could or could not be going on up the river there?
I really
Oh,
haven't heard
man.
anything about it.
No.
I feel like I lose so much faith in when I hear those words.
Well, I mean, it's still
Farm
the
bill.
same farm bill from 20 years ago, isn't it? They still just keep
Well,
extending it.
2018. 2018.
It's, yeah, it feels like 20 years. 20.
Although
it's the
I will
2018
say-
farm bill.
I think a 20-year long farm bill would do more than a 4-year farm bill.
Oh,
I think
interesting.
the
I agree with
4-year
that.
switch with every new administration
Yeah.
just like regresses any type of progress that
Yeah.
could
Yeah,
have come.
great
Maybe
point.
20
That's a
years
good-
is too long, but like you almost have to, like agriculture isn't a year by year
Yeah.
Yeah.
game. It's a
Yeah.
long game. You almost have to have the farm bill be like a 10-year implementation.
That's a good point.
That's true.
Interesting. Do you
I
think
do like that idea though.
What I'm curious about is, so this is supposed to support regenerative practices, right? I think they're calling it the Regenerative Pilot Program. So let me just read it. This is directly from this USDA article. The Regenerative Pilot Program will focus on whole farm planning that addresses every major resource concern, soil, water, and natural vitality. Under a single conservation framework, USDA is dedicating $400 million through the EQIP program and $300 million through Conservation Stewardship Program, or CSP, to fund this first year of regenerative agriculture projects. So to me, unless they're going to add some practices that are regenerative ag specific to whatever practices fall under EQIP and CSP, sounds like it's going to be probably largely existing practices that are just receiving more funding. Does that make sense? So more people can apply for things that.
Well, but even so,
and I think what I think personally is one of the most needed things for. I mean, like, this is good. I'm happy to see this money be made available. It's great, but I think education is probably like.
Well, I think they actually
having somebody come in there and show you this is how a
I think
regenerative
they
process
did that
works.
with this in the regard of, I mean, it's clever to get on a national stage. They didn't give. I'm not trying to be ungrateful. They didn't give that much money towards it, right?
Yeah, and the grand total.
And it'll fill up real quick. But what they did is they, on a national stage, said, we're giving money to CSP and EQIP. And now half the farmers that have never done it have been like, well, I know I've heard of it. Let me just ask my USDA office, what is this? Because maybe there's money for me
My
there.
guess, cover crops are going to be a big part of it.
As they should be.
Yeah.
It's a solution to all of our problems.
What do you think of grazing cover crops?
I love it.
Yeah, okay.
I absolutely love it. I think when we took out all the fence rows in this state, we did a lot of damage because it's kind of a no-brainer. At that point, you're almost double cropping. And it is what I would consider double cropping. Like, if your livestock are feeding on a cover crop,
that's right.
You are doing a lot of good, and you're also closing the nutrient cycle there because you're getting animals back on the landscape.
Our buddies up at Iowa Cover Crop teach classes, at least they did last year, at the PFI conference on grazing your cover crops. Well,
yeah. I don't know anything about it, but people
They'll be there again this year.
So why don't people do it? Just the fence row thing, or they don't have cattle, or?
I think it's a lot of different things. Both. Yeah. I mean, how many people do you know anymore that graze cattle and have row crop and are diversified in other ways? There's a lot of people that are just doing livestock or they're just doing row crop. There's also a lot of people that do not want to deal with the fencing. The fencing is such a big issue. It's such a big problem, and it can be very expensive. So, like, I don't know if it would even be considered to be a part of this regen ag funding, but it'd be cool to see even opportunities for grants to get e-collars for cattle, because fence can be a very expensive upfront cost and investment. And if you're a young farmer and you're like, you know what, all I have is row crop, but I really want to get some cattle on my landscape, I'd love to be able to graze cover crops. Maybe fencing isn't an option, but if there was a grant that's available, or if there's some type of cost share where they can get e-collars, I mean, I've seen some of that technology. I think it may work better with some smaller livestock like goats and maybe large like cattle, but it would be
Are cattle
an
even
option.
intelligent enough to? You think they'd figure that
Whenever
out?
you say the word, are cattle even? No. No, the answer is no.
There's some dairies that those cows that get milked every day, they know exactly where their stall is and
That's
they
true.
need to go,
That's
and they
true.
can walk through there
That's
and get
true.
scanned with their collar. And
Well, you can condition most creatures.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
and to be fair, like, it takes a big shock, I'm sure, to get a cow to turn around, but that's what's used with a hot wire. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and that's what most guys run.
the other thing about the cover crop thing is, like, mindset. Like, the old mindset, like, I've got to disc this field. It's the way we've always done it. I've got to tear up that corn stalk to put it back in the dirt so it'll break down easier. It's the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
So we're never going to stop doing it the way we've always done it.
So here's
I
a
know
question.
a lot of people like
It
that.
is not that expensive seed wise to plant cover crop. Like, it is very the rye, the what's the other really big one? So
Triticale.
triticale, the winter peas.
rapeseed.
Yep. So those, like, they're cheap. They're a commodity. But that plus planting might cost you $35 an acre. And
Yeah,
if your margin at the end of the year was good, let's say you have 1,000 acres and your margin at the end of the year was going to be $80,000, now your margin's $45,000. You know what I mean? And so you took it directly from the top line. So I know that the USDA was helping pay for that. And specifically Mahaska County, I know, had money for it. That was your old job. How much money is there to actually help pay for this in farmers? I think the money at the end of the day should come from higher prices on the food that is grown. But
so what you're asking is, are we anywhere near utilizing all the funding that's available?
no,
for
I'm asking who's going to pay for
cover
all the cover
crops?
crops to go on the ground.
Taxpayers.
Yeah.
Who do you think this
Well, I mean,
400
yeah.
million
Duh, what do you
is
think?
coming
I think most people who use cover crops right now do get some level of assistance, and some, like clear back when we talked to why can't I think of her name right now, on carbon credits. That's
Kubik.
Lisa Kubik. There's money made available through carbon credits based on you need to be showing that you're holding more carbon every year, that your cover crops are working right.
I wonder if carbon credits are going to dissipate now that Bill Gates is all like, nah.
Wait,
what did Bill Gates do?
Yeah, he had this like big thing about climate change being
it
a
wasn't
hoax
as
and
it
stuff.
wasn't as big. If you read between the lines on what he said, it wasn't as big of a difference in
Is he just-
his opinion.
I mean, is he just trying to stay relevant at that point?
He's
I
just trying to
think
get
so.
you to eat fake meat is what that man's trying to do.
Just, like,
Ain't gonna
lab-grown
happen,
meat,
Bill.
you
Not
know?
now, not ever.
Yeah.
Microsoft branded meat in Walmart. That's what.
Gross.
I've got a hot take on that stuff. Like if you're doing if you're in a government program and you're farming, I think that the amount of money that you get, a certain percentage of that should be part of your farm needs to go back into some sort of habitat, some sort of, if my tax money is going to help you out with your farm, you should in turn help out
There should be
everybody
some kind
else.
of benefit.
Yeah.
Even
I've
if it's 10%, I mean, like even 5%, 5% of your farm, I'll guarantee every farmer out there, 5% of their farm is not making them money.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just 5% to where you're not losing any money and your bottom line goes up. I don't know. I think it's a win. But
Yeah, I like the idea of border prairies. It'll help fight against neighborly disputes. It was like legal requirement for 20-foot border around, a certain, if you have over 100-acre field, you've got to have a 15-foot border. If you have a 200-acre field, you have to have a 20-foot border, and so, and the amount of habitat that would go
The
in with that.
autonomous farm equipment people do not like your idea.
No, well, and,
they don't.
and you know who else doesn't
They
like
want to start
my
at the
idea?
Mississippi River and turn around at the Missouri.
Yeah.
Well, so the autonomous farming, I mean, unless something drastic changes, like we were talking about with Zach the other day, unless something like that happens, that's where we're headed. Like
Yeah.
there's the trains
100%.
out of the station. But I also kind of hate the idea because I don't like forcing people to do something with their land that they don't like. But
Exactly.
But we live in a society together, and so it is very difficult to figure out how much togetherness are we going to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people are more okay with the government telling them to do stuff than they realize. And they're also more okay with their tax money being taken from them than they realize.
No, I flipping hate it.
You
I
really,
hate
you really,
every second.
you really
I'm
want
reading
to. You really want to
1984. I disagree.
You really want to sponsor your own national defense. Like, hey, this country wants to shoot missiles at us. You have to pay for your own missile.
Oh yeah, in that regard.
well,
100%.
shoot down service.
I mean, from
Your
the
own-
beginning, I mean, that's what, your taxes
Right.
were meant to go for was
Right.
defense. The whatever.
No
the other-
potholes in your
no
streets.
potholes in your streets.
Right.
And
So my point is, there's a ton of things. Yes, our tax money. We are taxed too much on a lot of things, and our money gets thrown out the window, burned, whatever, in a lot of ways. But we are actually okay with probably the vast majority of our tax dollars being taken from us because there's no way we'd want to pay for the road maintenance on our
No,
own.
we're
There's
okay
no-
with it because we like consumption and we like convenience. And anytime
Right.
you consolidate power, whether it's to private companies or to the government, you get your life to be more convenient, but you get some of your freedom taken away. Whether it's a big company or the government, either
Right.
way.
Right,
Other
and
way,
I think the way things end up, we talk about this all the time with everyone, we all complain, myself included, about man, why can't we just get some better candidates for our politicians? And Nick, you say this all the time. It boils down to we get what we deserve, right? What we truly want is what gets pushed to the top, right?
Absolutely.
At the end of the day. And I think the same thing is true too. And so I guess what I'm saying is when we have something that makes sense, I'm not saying we should all just, take whatever the government hands to us or be okay with whatever they take from us. That's not my argument. But when something that does truly make sense comes up, and I think the best way it's been put is by Ted Cook. If we want clean water, if we want a healthy climate, if we want soil that's going to last for our grandkids, then we have to be willing to pay for those things.
Yeah, I agree.
And that comes in different ways, right? That either comes from doing what it takes to earn the money to go buy the land and to put those practices in place ourselves, or it means, no, I don't have the money to buy the land, but I'm okay with, some of my tax money going to pay that landowner to put cover crops down in the winter because I want that soil to stay in place. We can't say we want water quality and then expect somebody else to provide that for us.
I 100% agree with that. I think if we want something, we have to be willing to pay for it.
Right.
I'm arguing is that I think, yes, the government is an okay short-term solution, but it's not a good long-term solution for a sustainable future.
The best long-term solution is everyone has a change of heart and they say, yeah, I want my grandkids to be able to eat food, and I want my water to not have, crazy levels of nitrates in them, but to get people to be thinking of others is a
we need another
tough thing.
Teddy Roosevelt is what we need.
Yeah,
we do.
That would be great.
And a Lacey. We need a hammer.
Yeah.
John Lacey.
Yeah.
But there again, that was the government forcing something to happen.
Absolutely.
Like Teddy's last few days in office, he had all of those national wildlife refuges and national parks that he established, and then he basically went on this blitz. I mean, it's a well documented story. You can actually read about it in Mark Kenyon's book, This Wild Country, and he basically talked with his lawyers. And he's like, okay, how does this work now where we can designate? And he knew he had like this window. It was like hours to get all of these places designated before the window would close and he wouldn't be allowed to do anymore. And he took advantage of it. I mean, he forced our country to have these places, and we're thankful for it.
Absolutely.
And the Lacey Act shut down a way that a lot of people made a lot of money in this country. It was heavy-handed legislation. So my point is,
there was two times the government worked.
Yeah. My point is, so often we just grump about taxes. We grump about the government's doing, but you need that to happen sometimes. And I get it. We don't want it all the time. We don't want government overreach in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of things that we actually are very thankful for that the government has stepped up and made it that way.
And what I think is funny about that too, because I do it too, I'm like, oh, the government. But it's like, we elect the people that make these decisions.
Right.
We don't get to elect the people that work at your local county office. Like, you get to work with whoever gets hired. But like, we do have a power in voting, unless Mark Twain was correct this whole time. And if voting actually mattered, they wouldn't let us do it, which, he might have been onto something back in whenever.
Man, how did he think of all that stuff? This was just so good.
Mark Twain's the man, dude.
Dude, you start looking at so many old quotes from people in like the 1800s, and I'm like, dude, they knew this country was going to crap.
We talked about that
did.
today.
Like,
we talked about that today in the truck.
Or like founding fathers. It's just like, how did you see the future?
Yeah. How did Thomas Jefferson?
You want to know how? It's pretty well studied and not that well talked about.
They
were very
time travelers.
Probably Teddy, honestly.
They were very well versed in two countries, Greece and Rome. They were very, very well versed in Greece and Rome, and they studied it. They studied the fall. They studied what worked, how long it worked, what ended up happening, what people rose up and took over, and what made the emperors. They studied that really well.
Yeah,
and they reference it.
Point.
They do.
I have no idea if you're factually correct right now, but it sounds great to me.
You know who actually taught me that? And to be fair, I haven't gone down a rabbit trail. Was my U.S. history teacher, Mr. Polk. And he was a fantastic teacher. He was one of those teachers, like, if you cared, you were going to learn a million things. And if you didn't care, great, you're going to get a D- and get out of here. You know?
Yeah.
And he was a great teacher. So that was one of the things that stuck with me, is that they studied Greek. And then he said, you guys should all study Greek and Roman politics. Everybody
Absolutely.
should have at least a fundamental understanding of it. And I haven't studied it. I just took his word for it. I just said, yeah, he seems like you're right.
You
Nick
can
got a
watch
C+.
Gladiator and learn the rest of it.
Yeah, you get the gist from Gladiator.
Yeah, Gladiator 2. It gives you most you need to know. It's fine. Great movies.
Documentary.
Great movies.
Which one did you like better, the first one or the second one?
First one, hands
I mean, the first
down.
one's a classic.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, it's hard to compare it,
Yeah.
but I thought the sequel was very well
Yeah,
done.
I thought it was
Yeah.
well done.
I saw
but
it
definitely
twice.
liked
I
the
was
first
in
Really?
LA when I saw it, and then I came back and I told Josh about it, and I was like, "You want to go see it again?" So we went
They
and watched
lost
it
me
again.
when they flooded the Coliseum. They lost
They
me
used
at that
they used to
part.
actually do that.
Yeah,
That
but
is
the
actually
sharks
true.
and the come on.
Yeah, I don't know about the sharks, but if they actually flooded the Coliseum, that was a cool scene.
It was
you have to
cool.
admit.
It
That
was cool, but
dope.
like, you know,
They
it's
need
kind of like
someone-
watching. It's kind of like watching Yellowstone, and they're fixing that fence, and it's the flimsiest barbed wire you've ever seen in your life. It's like there is no
twine.
rancher that I've ever seen that would ever do that.
I've refused to watch that show mostly because I'm sure it is filled with stuff like that that would
you're
just drive
better
me.
for it.
Oh, it's
You're better
oh,
for it,
yeah.
Ken.
yeah.
Just stick to your books.
You know how many doctors watch the show House?
Oh.
Not a one. Not a one.
Yeah.
If Grey's Anatomy for your
Get me a
physician.
rectal thermometer. Stat.
Yeah.
That's Ken writing the show House. No clue. Man. All right. I don't want to torture people too much longer with this, but I am curious what you guys think in terms of like bird numbers and when you're going out and hunting with private land. What do you see? I'm not just pheasants. What do you see has the most birds for their what the birds they should have on their land? What practices are they doing?
Do you guys go
You're
first?
the expert.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that, but it's the three things that I talked about. You've got good nesting cover for the spring, and pollinator helps with the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
You've got winter cover, and that's, I mean, pretty much it. If you've got those two things with some water relatively available, they're going to be fine. You're going to have birds. And that it's a proven fact. If you build it, you know, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they'll come and there'll be birds there.
Interesting.
And it's really good when you can like connect certain farms together. Like say there's one that's 2 miles away that's a really big piece of habitat. If there's a way that you can talk to some of the other farmers that, you know, there's a creek line or a waterway that's going to that piece, if there's a way that you can make corridors to each other, the
Yeah, I love
diversity
that.
helps a lot to where
That's a
you can
great
get,
tip.
I mean, that's going to increase your bird numbers too.
That's a great tip.
Interesting.
Well, it's one of the things you've talked about, and I've heard Travis talk about it too, is how, like yesterday, you said you guys have like the perfect ratio of roosters to hens that we were seeing yesterday. We saw like 50 birds, and we flushed maybe 10
Maybe. Yep.
roosters. The rest were hens. And you talked about how it just takes like one or two roosters to how do we say it?
Take care of all the girls.
Yeah,
Yep.
take
Yep.
court the ladies. So if you are supporting that hen population, and I think you can do that, and I think you can take advantage of that reality where you don't need all that many roosters by connecting those different patches of habitat with some level of habitat corridor.
And that's why the you know, everybody, when the bird population in Iowa plummeted and everybody was all worried, they were all saying that we needed to drop the harvest numbers, like you should only be able to shoot one or two. Well, that has zero bearing on any of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. A rooster pheasant is like a coyote. You're never going to get rid of all of them. It's just not going to happen. And you know, this time of year, the hens have to eat too, and roosters are bullies.
Yeah, Travis
They're not
told me
going
that
to eat.
too.
They're not going to be able to eat because the roosters are going to push them out of the way. So the less amount of roosters you have on the landscape this time of year is better for your
Wow. I didn't know that.
hen population. And if they come out of winter in good shape, that means their clutches are going to be a lot bigger.
Wow.
They're going to get the full clutch out of the whole thing.
You mentioned this earlier too in our conversation. I think we should highlight it. Just the importance of whenever your people are putting in food plots. Going back to the food plot conversation, they're almost always, and it makes sense, but they're almost always thinking about hunting season when they're planting that food plot. That's only a fragment of the animals a year. They need support during those other vulnerable times after hunting season. It gets nasty, in late season pheasant hunting, but that ends on January 10th. What about January 11th? And also then when they have little poults and for turkeys and little chicks for pheasants and fawns for deer. All those animals need that support in those early development days. In fact, Judd was. We should have him talk about this next time he's around, but he was talking about with our whitetail food plot mix, the importance of bugs as a protein source for fawns.
I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of deer doing some nature is metal stuff on occasion, like eating a little, probably a baby pheasant or something like that. But he looked it up.
I wouldn't sleep for weeks if I saw a deer eat a pheasant.
Yeah.
I would have terrified me.
There's been people that have documented turkeys eating snakes. Like they'll eat snakes and
yeah.
I mean, chickens eat rats.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, people think like chickens, they're herbivores. And I'm like, have you never seen a chicken eat a rat? That is a terrifying sight.
Yeah.
I don't know what that thing was thinking, but it was not thinking, cracked corn. Like, no, it was thinking something else.
Nick will never go to Chick-fil-A ever again.
No, that's not even close to stopping me from going. What it says is that we need we should have
He wanted us to be certain there's no stopping.
Chick-fil-A could be a sponsor someday. Leave it
Nick,
wide
you have to
open.
Chick-fil-A or Five Guys. Who are you giving up?
I have to give one up.
Yeah,
I'd give up Five Guys.
Five Guys in a heartbeat.
Because Five Guys is really cool, but it's so expensive. It's like special occasion only. Chick-fil-A, I can get breakfast for like $8. Which is more than I want to spend, but not like astronomical.
Nick goes grocery shopping.
there's
at
so
Chick-fil-A.
many better.
So?
There's so many better places than Five Guys to get a burger from.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, but
I'm not a
not
fan.
fast food.
I'm not a fan.
No, not fast food. I think Five
What's
Guys
the
is the best.
fast food burger?
Five Guys.
Yeah, for fast food, I'd probably
Around
could
here
be-
or just
I-
in general?
In general.
does Red
In and
Robin
out, hands down.
Really? I didn't
Oh,
think
I would
In-N-Out
love
was
to go
that
to
good.
I
In-N-Out.
liked
I've never
In-N-Out.
been to
I
one. but
really
I'd love
like
to try one.
In-N-Out. They said we're gonna do 3 things. We're gonna do it really well. It was the only place in Redding, California that was open after 9 o'clock. So all the college kids. I like In-N-Out a lot. I think there's a place in Seattle called Dickey's. Fantastic. There's like a famous picture of what is his name? Bill
Probably
Gates
Dick.
sitting out. Well, there's a famous picture of Bill Gates like standing in line outside of a Dickey's. It is a very good
Well,
fast
not
food
going
burger.
there.
I'm
not
out.
real meat now.
I'll make a lot of people from Texas mad, but I don't think Whataburger's very good either.
No, it's
don't think
terrible.
Whataburger's
I think it's
No.
I
terrible.
freaking hate that place.
It's
I think
terrible.
I've never
Culver's is
had
a
it.
good
Culver's is a good
burger.
burger.
I
I
Culver's
have
is a
not
good
been let
burger.
down by Culver's.
I think
very often.
Culver, what they do really well is their burgers, to me, aren't salty enough. But as soon as you put a little bit of ketchup on there, they have like pretty salty ketchup, perfect amount of salt. And it's like they did it on purpose. I love it. They do a great job.
I'm
You know, I
crazy.
Well, we
like-
go
I
from
like
habitat
deer
to talking
burgers.
about burgers.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. We all just burned
Yeah,
no
calories.
kidding, right?
It's 11:41. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I am so sorry. I learned a ton, but I really appreciate you guys joining us. Thanks for going on a
That's
hunt with
great
me.
Yeah.
conversation.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks
Oh,
for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Great.
Absolutely. Well, as you all know, if you are looking at putting some of your hunting land or some of your land into habitat, give us a call. Perennial Food Plots, give us a call. Otherwise, reach out to us for normal food plots. We'll get you in contact with Tim. He could get you taken care of. We appreciate you all. Don't forget, conservation happens just one mind at a time.